Whew. Man, it's been a minute.
So at the end of the last part, we were getting into the cracked Dragon Balls and the Dark Dragon that accompanied them. King Kai warns Goku to beware of this cigar-smoking dragon, and right after this warning, the dragon inhales all of the Dragon Balls, and then they disperse around the world in the mouths of other smaller smoky dragons. And then the big dark dragon just leaves. The dragon didn't grant any wishes or give any explanation for what it just did, it just left. And I like this because it leaves not only the Z fighters in a state of confusion, but King Kai as well. Only the Supreme Kai know about what just took place. Well, the Dragon Balls were made to grant wishes, we all know that. But they are only supposed to grant wishes every so often. Every time a wish is granted, the Dragon Balls store negative energy and then they scatter across the planet to let the negative energy die down. They were originally only supposed to be used every couple centuries, but the Z Fighters' repeated use of the Dragon Balls caused them to eventually crack from storing too much negative energy, which resulted in a dragon of pure evil being released. And the person to blame for this is Bulma, because without the Dragon Radar, the Dragon Balls would never be able to be found as quickly as they have. But like he always does, Goku assumes responsibility for other people's problems and gets ready to take on 7 of the strongest and most unique enemies he's ever faced. But before we get into that, I just want to talk about the idea of another Dragon Ball related problem. Individually, I like the Blue Dragon Balls and the Black Star Dragon Balls, but their stories were too close. I like the idea of super powerful Dragon Balls that come with a great cost, and I also like the idea of the normal Dragon Balls being corrupted with negative energy after repeated use. But we literally just watched the story where the Black Star Dragon Balls scattered, were found, and the Earth still exploded. Now there's this. As Goku flies to take on the new threat, he realizes that he can't find these monsters without the Dragon Radar, and as he turns around to go get it, he is met by Pan. And once again, she forces herself into harm's way by essentially forcing Goku to bring her along. And the first dragon they face is the 2-star dragon. The green dragon is terrorizing a small village until Goku and Pan show up, and at first, this dragon doesn't seem like too much of a problem. Pan is knocking him around with ease. They think the dragon can transform, but it can't. But Goku notices something is off. Pan pummels the dragon multiple times, but it isn't getting tired or weakening at all. And at a certain point, the dragon is able to not only defend, but counterattack against Pan. That's when we figure out what Haze Shenron's true power is. The dragon can poison his surroundings, and that pollution affects other living things around him. So Haze Shenron isn't actually getting stronger, Goku and Pan are getting weaker. So much so that Goku couldn't even become a Super Saiyan. Haze Shenron reveals to Goku that the wish responsible for its creation was the one that Goku made as a child to wish back Bora. But Haze has done enough talking and he throws Goku and Pan into a poisonous river, assuming that it would kill them. But to Goku and Pan's surprise, the bottom of the lake was fresh water because of a spring. So Goku fires a ki blast at the spring so he and Pan can fly back up to the surface and finish off the dragon. When they do, the Dragon Ball from Haze's head loses its cracks and regains its original orange color. Goku and Pan go off to find the next Dragon Ball, and it's in a city that's completely deserted, except for this older couple. They tell the Saiyans that this weird goo has been going around absorbing electricity from everything, and not long after the Saiyans arrive, the dragon reveals itself. Its name is Eis Shenron, and it claims to be the strongest out of all of the Shadow Dragons. His first attack on the Saiyans was sending his slime to electrocute the Saiyans, and when that doesn't work, he uses his slime to grow much bigger than Goku and Pan. Eis Shenron informs the Saiyans that he was created from the wish that brought Goku back to life when Vegeta and Nappa invaded Earth. In his giant form, Eis Shenron is much more of a threat, constantly electrocuting Pan and Goku. Eis Shenron grew in size before, so Goku decided to follow suit and he became a Super Saiyan 4 in an attempt to end the dragon in one blast. But instead of taking damage from the blast, Rage bounces it back at Goku and Pan, causing Goku to revert back to his base form. Eis Shenron then decides to start absorbing energy from the Earth's planetary electricity reserves, and it begins to grow a lot, and its slime is starting to cover everything. Rage traps the Saiyans in his slime and electrocutes them, and there's nothing they can do to stop it. But in a great stroke of luck, it starts to rain, and Eis Shenron's slime will short circuit if it's kept out in the rain for too long. So small little explosions start happening at different parts of his slime because he's too big to protect himself all at once, and eventually he explodes. After the explosion dies down, Goku and Pan find Eis Shenron lying down defenseless, and as Pan goes over to get the Dragon Ball, Eis Shenron almost traps Pan in his slime but is quickly killed by Goku when the Dragon Ball is retrieved. 2 Shadow Dragons down, 5 to go. The story then takes us to a fishing port where a bunch of men are going crazy about what seems like thousands of fish falling from the sky. The men credit a princess for the fish that they are receiving, and we later meet this princess, Princess Oto, who just so happens to be the shadow dragon the Saiyans were looking for. This dragon was known as Oceanus Shenron, commander of the water and the air, And I just want to say I love how the Shadow Dragons all represent different elements. It was teased when the Dragon Balls were scattered around the earth after the Smoking Shenron left, but seeing them in action was pretty cool. I mean, I'll always give credit to Dragon Ball GT for its unique ideas, they were just poorly executed. Oceanus Shenron informs Goku that she was created from the wish Oolong made for a girl's underwear. That would be a wish that would come back to haunt them. Goku and Pan attack Oceanus Shenron and their attacks do nothing. The dragon then takes on a Kamehameha from Goku and deflects it with ease. And even though Goku is confused, he charges back at Oceanus and instead of getting knocked back, his clothes are torn off by a gust of wind. And as embarrassing of a moment as this was for Goku, he learned how Oceanus was deflecting his attacks. It's because she was spinning around really fast. So after Goku gets a new set of clothes, he starts to spin like Oceanus and this happens. Not sure how this is possible, but we're here. Goku and Oceanus Shenron then literally crash into each other for a while until the dragon traps Goku in a whirlwind, forcing him through a bunch of rocks. Now it would have taken Goku a while to die from this attack, but the problem is, the air is moving so fast, Goku can't get out of the way. Now it's all up to Pan. She puts her hands together and starts to say the iconic word and Goku can't do anything but smile. Pan fires off her first Kamehameha which frees Goku and that gives Goku the opportunity to break free and fire off a Kamehameha as well. The Saiyans retrieve the 6-star ball and save the fishing port. 3 down, 4 to go. And at this point, I wasn't really disappointed by this arc, but I just wanted to see Goku actually fight for once. Unfortunately, we have to wait a little longer. The next dragon Goku and Pan face is Naturon Shenron, and out of all of the dragons so far, this was by far my least favorite. We are introduced to this giant mole digging tunnels underground and tearing down the city in the process. So Goku and Pan try to minimize the damage as much as they can, and the dragon notices that someone is disturbing his work. So he finally comes to face the Saiyans, and he's disappointing to say the least. He provides no real resistance in the fight and even ends up hurting himself with his own attacks. So when he's on the ground and goes back into the Dragon Ball, Pan has a valid reason for rushing over to pick it up, but as she rotates the Dragon Ball, she sees that it's still cracked. A bright light then engulfs Pan, and when that light dies down, we see Naturon Shenron, but he looks a little different. He actually looks stronger. Naturon informs Goku that one of his abilities is to absorb other beings to increase his own power, and that's what he did to Pan. So Goku now has to find a way to beat Naturon without killing his granddaughter. In the beginning of his fight with this new Naturon Shenron, Goku was hesitant to make any moves, but Pan tells Goku that it's okay and she wants Goku to go all out. So Goku transforms back into a Super Saiyan 4 and he's beating the brakes off Naturon, but he's still holding back some. So Naturon tells Goku that either he needs to kill him or stay out of the way, because Goku wasn't going to get anything accomplished fighting like this. So Goku charges up a 10 times Kamehameha and fires it at Naturon Shenron, and we see a shot of Pan crying, saying goodbye to her grandfather. As Goku mourns the loss of his granddaughter, Naturon Shenron stands up, heavily damaged but very much alive. From this point on, Naturon Shenron beats Goku to the point where he can't move, and in an act of kindness, Naturon grants Goku one last wish, and that was to see his granddaughter one last time. Pan emerges from Naturon's stomach and pleads for her grandfather to fight back, but to no avail. So Naturon pulls Pan back in, and right before she's completely gone, Goku reaches out, grabs, and then pulls Pan out of Naturon's stomach, showing that he had just a little more power than he was letting on. Naturon then reverts back to his original state, which is a small brown pig, and in a last-ditch effort to escape Goku, Naturon tries to absorb a bird that's flying by, but he's nowhere quick enough. Goku unloads a fury of punches before firing a Kamehameha that kills Naturon Shenron. Pan is safe, the city is safe, and they got the Dragon Ball. But I still want to see Goku throw some hands. Fortunately, the last 3 Shadow Dragons are real combat threats and turn out to be some of the most exciting fights in Dragon Ball GT. The next Dragon Ball they search for is in another empty city, and as they are searching around, Pan looks up at the sun and tells Goku that it just grew. Soon after, the dragon jumps down from the sky on fire and introduces himself as Nuova Shenron, the 4-star ball. And just based on looks, this dragon seems much stronger and a lot more intimidating than the likes of Rage or Naturon. But just like every other time, Pan rushes in without a care in the world. She's overconfident from her previous experiences with the Shadow Dragons, therefore she's dealt with in one blow. But Nova has no interest in battling Pan. He's there for a good fight, and that's with Goku. In the earlier parts of their fight, Nova's ability to raise his body temperature proves to be troublesome for Goku. Nova then flies up in the sky and almost looks as if he's a sun, literally shooting fire down on Goku. So for this portion of their fight, a base Goku just has to run away. They eventually end up in this hotel, and every room Goku goes to, Nova's there waiting for him ready to attack. Away from the fight, Giru is looking after Pan until the surrounding area becomes covered in ice. And the being responsible was what looked like a blue Nova Shenron, Eis Shenron. No need to explain what his powers were. But this situation is now a little more concerning because the Saiyans never had to deal with two Shadow Dragons at the same time. Goku was already playing hide and seek with one of them, and that was before Nova Shenron revealed his true form. With Nova powering up, it only made sense for Goku to do the same, and as a Super Saiyan 4, Goku and Nova's fight is a lot closer. It seems like Goku is much better at dealing with Nova's heat. Goku is stronger than Nova at this point, but Nova is faster, so Goku has to use more unorthodox methods to catch Nova. And what that looked like was Goku using a mirror to confuse Nova and then appearing behind him. At this point, Nova accepts his fate and acknowledges that he's lost. And that highlights one trait about Nova that separates him from the other Shadow Dragons. He had a genuine love for combat along with a sense of morality and honor when fighting. It's no coincidence that this is the 4-star ball either. When they first met, Nova knocked out Pan but did no further damage because that's not in his character. So Goku repays Nova for that noble act and lets him live. So when they go back outside to finish their fight, right before Goku fires off a Kamehameha, his hand is frozen. And there's that dragon from before, and it seems like he broke out of his shell too. Nova tells Goku that Eis Shenron is his twin brother, and Eis has Pan's bag full of Dragon Balls, which prompts Goku to fly towards her to make sure that she's okay. But unlike Nova, Eis tries to attack Goku while he isn't paying attention, showing that the twin brothers don't share the same code of ethics. So Nova stops his brother, telling him that Goku is his fight, but Eis doesn't listen and proceeds to fight Goku anyway. He freezes both of Goku's arms, but Goku is so much stronger than Eis that he can beat him with just his legs. So guess what Eis does? He freezes Goku's legs, and then his whole body. Eis then tells Nova that he must kill Goku, but I don't know what he was expecting. Instead of killing Goku, Nova just melted the ice Goku was encased in. And from the Inferno, Goku tells Eis to be ready because he'll beat him in 10 seconds. Now it takes him a little bit longer than that because Eis pulls a couple of dirty tricks, including blinding Goku, but in the end, Goku kills Eis Shenron with a hole in the torso, and then the most over-the-top Dragon Fist of all time. In the aftermath, Nova gives Goku the antidote for his blindness and agrees to fight again when they can fight fairly. But something in the distance knocks Nova over and knocks the antidote out of Goku's hand. And in the distance is the final Shadow Dragon, Syn Shenron, the 1-star Dragon Ball, and this is a great design for the final villain. He's obviously gonna be the strongest Shadow Dragon, but he looks the part as well. He's huge, he's got the spikes going, and I have a feeling he isn't honorable like Nova. He has no problem taking on Goku while he's blind, and even though he's much weaker because of it, Goku still ends up landing a direct hit on the Shadow Dragon, but what the dragon does next is much different than any of the other dragons before him. Syn Shenron eats the other 6 Dragon Balls and become what we all know to be Omega Shenron. The recovered Dragon Balls are now visible on the dragon's chest and they are blue and cracked again. In this state, Omega has the abilities of all of the other dragons we saw before him, and on top of already being extremely powerful, Super Saiyan Goku couldn't win. But that's when Vegeta shows up with the plan. He artificially transforms himself into a Great Ape, and just like Goku, he becomes a Golden Great Ape and then a Super Saiyan 4. And if Goku's form wasn't enough, Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta's appearance is more than enough proof to why this is the best design for a Saiyan transformation in the franchise. Now you have 2 of the strongest fighters in the universe with their bodies at their peak taking on this Shadow Dragon, and it's still not enough. So the Saiyans resort to fusing, becoming Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. Gogeta is so far above Omega Shenron that the dragon can't even perceive his attacks. But just like every other strong fusion, Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta ran out of time. So this next section is one we've seen before. Super Saiyan 4 Goku and Vegeta taking on Omega will not result in a win for the Saiyans, so they try to fuse again. They successfully stall Omega for enough time to try the fusion dance again, and when they finally do it, Goku becomes a kid again. Now Goku remains his optimistic self going forward, but this was the second time in GT where I really felt that there was no way for Goku to win. This was a hopeless situation. So when Omega Shenron fires a Spirit Bomb-like attack at Goku, Goku of course tries to push it back, but he fails. And for all we knew at this point, Goku was dead. So with the hero out of the way, Omega starts to flood the earth with negative energy. The sky is black, there are earthquakes, the tides are rising, unreal thunderstorms, like this was it. Vegeta, being the last line of defense, tells Trunks to take everyone and get off of the planet. But he and the other half Saiyans don't listen, and they go to help Vegeta take on Omega Shenron. Now, if two Super Saiyan 4s couldn't get it done, it was obvious that 4 Super Saiyans were going to lose, but they had no other option. At this point, it wasn't about winning the fight, it was about not giving up. And in this attack, Vegeta takes one of the most gruesome blows in Dragon Ball. I really don't understand how he was able to use his arms after that. As Omega prepares to kill Vegeta, Vegeta laughs, and before he passes out, he tells Omega Shenron that it isn't over just yet. From the ground, Goku rises, with his hands in the air and building a spirit bomb. I've said it before, the spirit bomb is one of the best ways to end a Dragon Ball arc. And as the spirit bomb grows, it clears the dark clouds from the sky and the thunderstorms stop. And all this is happening while the series theme plays in the background. This was a very well executed moment in what I think is a show full of horrible execution. So Goku asks King Kai to help him gather energy throughout the universe, and those boring episodes during the Black Star Dragon Ball Saga hold value here, because we see some of those same characters helping to save the Earth. Goku fires a completed spirit bomb at Omega, it kills Omega, and then the Shenron we're all accustomed to makes an appearance without being summoned. Goku makes one final wish to bring back all of the humans that have died since the Super 17 incident, and then Shenron says it's time for him to go, and Goku goes with him. I've talked about it on the channel before, but GT's ending is remarkably cathartic. It was one of the very few times I watched Dragon Ball and didn't care about what made sense. Did Goku die? Why didn't attacks affect him when he was building the spirit bomb? What about that aura around him? Where did he and Shenron go? Who knows? I didn't care when I first watched the series, and I don't care now. Goku going to see all of his friends before he leaves serves as more than just the ending to GT, but a storybook ending to a legendary franchise, because for a long time, that's exactly what it was. GT's ending hits so hard not because of Dragon Ball GT, but because of how good Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z are. But those are just my thoughts, and I would love to hear yours. So let me know down in the comments how you feel about not just the Shadow Dragon Saga, but Dragon Ball GT as a whole. And if you enjoyed this video or any of the other ones you've seen on my channel, please leave a like and subscribe. We're on the road to 10,000 subscribers, and everyone counts. Again, this is BigTune, and thanks for watching. Y'all have a good one.